yes or no questions, so I ensure that we are all on the same page, having had a lot of back and forth. As we finish this, I want to get this on the record. So these questions are from Ms. Wong, Ms. Moorkamp, and Mr. Langahan. Do you believe that there will be negative impacts on the economy if we stick with the status quo and do nothing to help declining multi-employer plans? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Mr. Blackman?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you support Congress doing something this year and not kicking the can down the road any longer? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 And do you support the concept of a loan program for critical and declining multi-employer plans? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Not without structural changes.
Okay, thank you. Now, these questions are from Mr. Langan of UPS. Who administers multi-employer pension plans, and what role do employers play in this process?
Multi-employer plans are administered by a board of trustees. A lot of them that we participate in are jurisdictional in nature, so if you contribute in that area, that's where you put your monies. We're in 27 different plans. There's employer and employee representation on those boards, and on those boards they have support from attorneys, investment advisors, actuaries, and those are the folks who run the plan day to day.
So what concerns me is that I'm going to ask you another question, and I'm probably going to run out of time, so I may submit some questions for the record. Mr. Blackman said he had no input into the administration of that plan, didn't know who was doing it. That worries me. I mean, I think that there's been, well, but can you help me say who helps the governing board of trustees carry out their duties, such as determining the plan investment strategies, investing plan assets, and determining accrual levels that are supported by contributions?
Yes, there's an investment advisor on every board that I sit on, for example, and they help you set the allocation based on...
Has UPS participated in those? Have they picked the person that does it? How do people get picked for those?
How people get picked to be on boards.
Or did you feel that you had a fiduciary responsibility there?
When you become a member on a board of trustees by law, you are held at the highest standard of fiduciary responsibility. The entire board vets out and determines who is the best investment advisor. We look at that on a regular basis to make sure we have the right people, the right.
So UPS did that as a company?
As a trustee sitting on the board, as a representative on the board, yes, I have participated in that.
So building off that, in your testimony you mentioned that changing the actuarial assumptions for multi-employer pension plans would only exacerbate, not address the underlying problem. Can you elaborate on this point further? Why would this be so harmful?
Well, as far as the actuarial assumptions, what I was referring to as far as the interest rate or the discount rate, all that does is lift up the amount of the liability. The contributions don't support it. It's kind of like a three-legged stool. If you raise the liability, you either have to reduce benefits or bring in more contributions. That pressure just continues on the remaining employers, and if they can't afford it today, they won't be able to afford it tomorrow. As way of a quick example, every plan has to fill out a 5500 report, and on that 5500 report, the liabilities as far as the current liability, which is the lower discount rate that folks are referring to, is on there. In Central States alone, that added over $15 billion of additional liability to the obligation. You have to double the contribution on the remaining employers to even take a shot at reducing that liability. It's just not feasible.
I'm out of